Over 500,000 people in Britain dead, and another 2 million people in the United States dead. Those were the figures that were put forth by Professor Neil Ferguson of Imperial College back in February of 2020. I still remember them like they were yesterday. I remember I was in the gym when I got those numbers, and I had to just sit down, and I had a dark moment about what the future of 2020 might hold. And he brought those numbers to our Prime Minister's SAGE committee, and he told Sir Patrick Vallance and Chris Whitty what was expected to come in 2020. And they took those numbers and decided to lock down this entire country on the back of it. They didn't check. They didn't look for a peer review. And this is basic science, to always check someone's numbers. And when I got my mechanical engineering degree at MIT, freshman year, we were taught you always check someone's numbers, check their hypothesis, and before you move forward, you make sure that everyone agrees that that's good science. Matter of fact, when I was 12 years old, I was taught this at my first science fair. This is how you always check science. And yet, our government moved forward on numbers that are now proven to have been completely wrong. And there's a new book out called The Gambler, which is authored by Tom Bauer, that's actually being published daily in the Daily Mail here, that goes through these exact moments of Boris Johnson and his time as Prime Minister this year, and shows how this science was wrong. And that is one of the reasons I'm continuing to make these videos, because this displays three things that I've been talking about. The first is a total lack of leadership. The second is a disproportionate response to this virus. And the final piece is a complete lack of science-based decision-making. And what frustrates me even more is that for the past 7 months at London Real, I've been broadcasting conversations with incredible people from around the world. Scientists, Nobel Prize winners, 4-star generals, doctors, nurses, that have been refuting these same numbers that our government has been pushing on us, that our mainstream media has been pushing on us. And one of those was Professor Michael Levitt of Stanford University, Nobel Prize winner, who at the same time, when Neil Ferguson published these numbers, he said, no, these are 10 to 12 times too high. And he was basically exactly right. If you take those numbers and divide by 10 or 12, you're down to about 40,000 deaths, which is what we've experienced here in the UK. And I published a conversation with Michael Levitt on our Digital Freedom platform. Now, why didn't I publish it on YouTube? Why wasn't I allowed to broadcast this on television here in the UK? Because I was being censored by Ofcom, by our social media platforms, because they said I was publishing information that was against the government and was against the WHO. And yet I was speaking with Nobel Prize winners, with doctors, with scientists, and yet I was told that I could not speak my truth because our basic freedom of speech was being thrown out the window because it went against the government's agenda and that of the mainstream media. And it really troubles me that we shut down this entire economy based on numbers that were never even fact-checked, that were not based on science, and it was obviously a completely disproportionate response to this virus. And this is just one of many signs, and it shows that what we've been talking about here the past 7 months on London Real is so important. That important to exercise your freedom of speech, to have an open and honest debate, to create a marketplace of ideas from many different voices so we can challenge each other. No one ever challenged Neil Ferguson's numbers. Not even the people on the SAGE committee. The people that should know better, Chris Whitty, Sir Patrick Vallance, even Boris Johnson should have got more opinions, but they didn't. And everything went forward based on a disproportionate response and a total lack of science-based decision-making. And so I'm frustrated, and I'm frustrated that these same governments are continuing the same narrative because they have to cover up their poor decisions from the past. And that's why I'm calling out for us to put our leaders in check, to ask for real leadership, to ask for a proportionate response to this virus. Yes, protect those that are in danger, but don't punish the rest of our entire country and world because of it and crush our economy, crush our mental and physical health. We need to start working by the science, and we need to start making intelligent, proportionate decisions. Let's do that. I would love to see your comments below. Please share this video if it resonates or if it's what's going on in your city or your country. But enough is enough. You know, we have to reset ourselves and move forward with intelligent decision making so we can create a future that we can be proud to pass on to our children and grandchildren. So leave me your comments below. Thanks so much for your time. I will keep making these videos until we see change happen. I think we need to move into a new direction. Thank you.